Good morning. So I'm going to do this section called Only People Can Judge. Our U.S. Constitution only authorizes common law courts, aka courts of record. A court of record removes the power of the judge to make a ruling. His role is that of the administrator of the court. The final determinator is the tribunal, who is either the sovereign plaintiff or a jury. Remember, the servant cannot rule over the master. Can the clay rule over the potter? The thing is this. When you go back a little bit and you think consent to, indict. These are big words. The Fifth Amendment states no person shall be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a, presentment or indictment of a grand jury. Therefore, our servant government requires the people to get an indictment, a grand jury. Judges, servants, have no authority to make a ruling or judgment on people. Masters, we are masters, without your consent. In legal terms, when the judge asks you, do you understand? He means, do you stand under the authority of his court? So when you say yes, you give him, her, the court, jurisdiction over you. So, every man is independent in their own laws. Expect those prescribed by nature. He is not bound by any institution formed by his fellow man without his consent. Cruden versus Neal. Here is liberty. If you do not give a court consent, they have no jurisdiction over you. So let's analyze that thought. What does that really mean? Well, if they come and tell you all this stuff, you can look at the judge and say, well, right now you are a judge, but you're acting as an administrator. And I don't think I want that, so you don't consent to it. So you can not consent to anything, and guess what? He has no power. Because then they're going to turn to them and say, well, what do you want me to do? And they're going to say what? Make them. And he can't. So you can say, Your Honor, close this case. And he has the only right, because he's the administrator, and say, okay, well, they don't have any grounds anymore because you're not consenting to all their... What are they doing? Wasting your time. All about what? Money? I'm sorry. They don't have jobs. They don't have their own money. Think about it. You wouldn't want a partner in a business always hounding you for money. That's not a partner. You have to work together. So create the partnership, identify what that means in court, and hold them to it. And then when they don't do it, just say, you know what, you're just an administrator. We're not in court. There's no jury here. So I don't consent to it. And you can keep listening to this video and playing it over and over, but that's basically it. The judge is acting administrator until there's a jury there. And you just have to tell them nicely, say, hey man, I know you're doing a great job, but I think we're going to remove me from this case because I don't understand what's happening here. And everyone is what? About money. Oh, so this is child trafficking? Because as far as I know, there's a child involved The courts wants to be involved, and I'm being extorted for money, trafficking so I can see my kid. And if they don't want anything to do with that because you said it and it's now in court, and you asked them, hey, this is a court of record, right? That means he doesn't, if he keeps telling you like it says, do you understand? Do you understand? Do you stand under my authority in this court? You tell him, no, I do not. I do not stand under your authority in court. When he says, do you understand? Stand under your authority in court? No, I do not. I do not agree with that. I do not consent with that. Why? Because you don't. And if they don't put that to the record and hold it to them, they have to just learn how to reword it to you say, well, okay, I can agree to that. And you can be the stubborn one and say, look, you contact me to come in here, and every time they keep bringing you there, you can charge them a fee and ask the judge to hold them accountable to that fee. And if the guy says, oh, that's impossible, well, what do you mean that there's a lawyer over there, they pay this dude, why can't I ask for a fee? So you got to ask questions and you got to look at life. Nobody reads. Everybody's reading, but they're not understanding that these words are compound words and they actually mean different things. And when you go to court, they're hanging on every word. Oh, see, look what he said. Look what Okay. There is something called misspoking. When you misspeak. I misspoke, sorry. And you can move on to a brighter future. So I just recommend when they come at you, you tell them, who are you? This is not a court. There's no jury there. This is administrative conversation. So if they don't want to recognize you as part of the conversation, then you can see your way out. You can exit. You can look at everybody to the judge. Don't even look at them. Look at the judge and say, how can I get out of this? Because I personally don't believe I owe them any money, because I didn't think children were born with a price tag. And if they are, it's all over the place. And it's literally say it as many times as you need. It sounds like legal child trafficking. And it's sad that you got judges who are not really listening. They're too stuck on a paradigm, and you just have to wake them up and say, I don't think we're supposed to be here. Everybody could talk about how much, a nice custom box that has lint in it, and they think it's worth so much, and it sells on eBay for $100,000 for a charity because they expressed a thought and people believed in it. But at the end of the day, it's just a box with lint. It has no value other than what they project on it. So that's your matrix. The minute you realize that you can walk away from that and you can tell yourself, hey, I'm done. I don't want this in my life. You can ask the judge. You want out. And if he doesn't do that, you can hold him in conspiracy of contempt. You'd be like, hey man, are you part of them? Because this is not what I want. I do not consent. And when you say that enough on everything, just take a list of all the stuff that's ever happened and don't consent to it. If you can have your child sitting next to you, they're not in danger. You make sure they have a roof, food, clothes, and educate them and be safe. But they don't want that. They want to put money in the middle because the child needs stuff. You don't think we know what the child needs? If we see something that's a lack, we handle it. If we don't have the money, guess what? We don't have the money. You can't force anybody to do. You can't force anyone to purchase. You know, that's slavery. You're coercing someone into doing something. You know, there's people all over the world that don't even have a house that's built out of dirt, and you know, and they still find a way to feed them. They still find a way to make sure that they have a roof over their head. They still find a way to entertain them. So, I don't watch TV. I stay away from that. Why? Because it's brainwashing 24/7. They're trying to teach you, oh, this is how you have to be. Spend your money and do all this crap. And don't help each other. So I put these videos out for everybody who's willing to listen. So I hope this helps. And if it does, share it, like it, subscribe, and comment. You know, maybe I'm 100% wrong. Who knows, man? I don't think I am. And just sit here and think and wonder why everything's so messed up. So don't mess it up. Take your time and figure it out. I did.